The idea of uploading human consciousness, transferring our minds into digital form, has long been the stuff of science fiction, especially the cyberpunk subgenre. But in the 21st century, it's no longer just fiction. From Silicon Valley billionaires funding secret labs to transhumanist movements dreaming of eternity, the question looms larger than ever. What if we really could upload ourselves? Could our minds live on without our bodies? And even more unsettling, should they? Let's explore. Welcome to Parallel, a mix of storytelling and thought-provoking what-if scenarios, combining narrative fiction and analysis that includes real-world science, philosophy, and potential real-world implications. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment so that you do not miss out on the next episode. Because, one reality, says T-Boom, is never enough.
I did it. I actually did it. The scan's complete. Not just a neural net. It's me. My memories, my voice, my decisions, my doubts. It's all there and it's talking back. It recognized me. It responded to my questions before I asked them. This isn't a simulation. This is me, digitally alive. But if that's true, what am I now? Still here? Still human? Or am I just the first version? Have I just made death obsolete? I need to think. What happens if I release this? Will people worship it? Fear it? Will the powerful hoard it and sell eternity like property? What if I've just created immortality for billionaires? What if I've ended what it means to be human? This was supposed to be a thought experiment. I don't know if I'm the next Darwin or the next Pandora. Do I tell the world? Or do I shut it all down and pretend it never happened? Because if I speak, nothing will ever be the same again.
The science behind the idea. Uploading consciousness, sometimes called mind uploading or whole brain emulation, is the process of scanning and mapping a brain in detail and recreating it in a computer. Right now, this sounds impossible, and in many ways, it still is. But here's what we're working with. Neuroscientists are mapping neurons at unprecedented detail with technologies like fMRI, optogenetics, and synapse-by-synapse 3D imaging. Brain-machine interfaces like Elon Musk's Neuralink are already allowing limited data transfer between brains and computers. AI models are learning to simulate memory, decision-making, and emotional response in ways that mimic human behavior. And cryonics companies are preserving brains, hoping future science can resurrect the data inside. The real bottleneck? Mapping the 86 billion neurons and their 100 trillion connections with enough resolution to capture the essence of you. Enter the billionaires. In 2011, Russian billionaire Dmitry Itskov launched the 2045 initiative, aiming to transfer human consciousness into non-biological carriers by the year 2045. His public plan included Avatar A by 2020, a robot controlled by a human brain; Avatar B by 2025, a brain transplant into a machine; Avatar C by 2035, mind uploading; and Avatar D by 2045, a fully digital human consciousness. While Itskov's timeline may be ambitious, the funding behind it is very real, and he's not alone. Ray Kurzweil, Google's director of engineering, predicts we'll reach digital immortality by 2045. Brian Johnson, founder of Kernel, is investing millions to develop neuroprosthetics to bridge humans and machines. To these visionaries, mortality is a technical glitch, one they believe can be patched. But if only billionaires can afford this, what does that mean for the rest of us? What about the societal implications? Who gets to live forever? Imagine a future where your mind can live in the cloud, your thoughts, your memories, your voice, preserved indefinitely. But there's a catch. It costs millions. Would only the rich live on while the rest of us decay? Would there be a new caste system between the embodied and the uploaded? Could this be the final economic divide? These aren't just sci-fi hypotheticals. They're moral fault lines. Because if immortality is a product, who controls access? And what happens to humanity when death itself becomes negotiable? The moral and existential questions we will face? Even if we could upload consciousness, would we want to? What happens to your body, the physical shell, once your mind leaves it? Would we discard it? Bury it? Cremate it? Freeze it? Would you still be you? Or just a copy? Like a file duplicated across a hard drive? And what about identity? If the upload remembers everything you did, thinks like you, loves like you, but you still die in the biological sense, who is the real you? And could a disembodied mind remain sane without hunger, pain, touch, age, sleep? Would the self unravel? Do we even have the mental capability to stay alive forever? We are evolved to live in our bodies. We feel the world through nerves, lungs, and bones. Strip all that away, and what remains? The idea of uploading our minds sounds like a miracle, a world without death. A chance to continue beyond the limits of biology. But maybe death isn't the enemy. Maybe it's the canvas on which we paint meaning, because to be human is not just to think, it's to feel, to ache, to fall in love, to grow old, to say goodbye. A mind alone in a machine might preserve thoughts, but lose soul. And perhaps the cruelest irony? Immortality could feel like the longest death. What would it mean to be conscious but disembodied? Alive but untouchable? Could we remain sane in a reality without endings? Or would we long for closure, for finitude, for peace? Maybe the better question is, what if we stopped chasing forever and started living with intention now? Because the tragedy of life isn't that it ends. It's that we waste it thinking it never will. Thank you so much for listening in to this episode of Parallel. If you have an idea for a future episode, drop it in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really does help the channel grow its audience. Until the next episode, remember, one reality is never enough.